Hello, world of the internet. My name is Simon Miller, and welcome to another one of my stupid vlogs. And I just want to say again, genuinely blown a little bit back about how much people get in touch and say they like these. I don't know why, but I like the fact you do, because if you didn't, well, I'd be a little bit sad, wouldn't I? I'd be like, oh, here I am talking about my life. One guy did come on and say that he thinks I'm giving away too much about myself. But I am just a random bald dude. I don't think there's any real secrets here. But anyway, I appreciate him watching. I appreciate everybody watching. And because we're at the start of the video, I do the whole thing. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Do all that nonsense and look in the description below to see about other ways you can support the channel. Not going to go on about it too much, even though I probably should. Or at least that's what a lot of people would do. So you've seen by the title, this is something I mentioned in passing on another vlog. This is the way this seems to happen now. This is how we're going to get the momentum with these. I mentioned how much I love Metallica. Most people, if you watch any of my stuff, be it on What Culture on here, Rock Reacts, wherever you go, know that I love Metallica. And someone said, Miller, how did you get into Metallica? Now, I'm not really sure how much I can talk about this, but I will talk about how much Metallica meant to me and how they kind of changed my life. Life is what I meant to say there. As sad as it may sound. And yeah, I'll give you the story. So I was 16 years of age. So I got into them. Some people got into them well young. I was 16 years of age and I was driving in a car with my friend Luke. He's a couple of years older than me. He was able to drive. That was just cool in itself because when you're a kid, you think really cool things are exciting. I don't know why. I think, you know what I mean. I said really cool things. This is why I don't edit them, right? You get everything. I snap a few things here and there. Otherwise, you get Miller in his rawest form. That's hopefully what the appeal is all about. But we were driving down. I even remember we were driving in Luton, which is where I used to live. We were heading to a petrol station, I think to buy some food, instead of Marks and Spencer's or a Sainsbury's or something built into the petrol station. I can't remember what it was. And No Leaf Clover by Metallica came on. He was listening to S&M. And I kid you not, before all of this, I had always... my music, it wasn't even a music taste. There'd be certain songs that I'd hear and I'd like, but ultimately I was trying to get myself into R&B and hip-hop, which is hilarious, really, more R&B. But now, obviously, over on Rock Reacts, I've kind of got into it now, but I'm talking about, a long, long time ago. And I never really got it. Like, I was only listening to that stuff because everybody in my school was listening to that stuff, and that's just how it works. If everyone in your school listens to it, you listen to it, but I didn't really get it. I was like, yeah, some songs are good. I like Drew Hill for one reason or another, still do. But it didn't resonate with me, it didn't make me feel anything, there was no emotions there. And then, I kid you not, I know it sounds airy-fairy and hippie-trippy and all those words. As soon as I heard Metallica, of all the songs, No Leaf Clover, a random song that they did just for S&M and that occasionally pops up in live sets these days. But I heard it, and it was all, I understand how cheesy it sounds, but I kid you not, it was almost as if a whole new world had opened up to me, like Aladdin. But it did. It spoke to me on some level, that whatever level music can speak to you when you can't actually explain. And yeah, again, there's going to be a lot of nansy-pansy stuff in here, but it made me feel alive. And I knew I gravitated towards it straight away. It just made sense to me. And I like the aggression. I like the epic nature of it. I liked how it took me on a journey. I like the guitars, everything about it. I was just like, I'm in. What is this? And you won't be surprised to hear this at all. Yes, this is how I've done most of my life. But it hit me so hard, and I got so passionate about it, I instantly went out the next day. I was only 16. I was only working a part-time... Well, here's a little gift thing for you. I was working a part-time job in my school. Because after hours, if you were in sixth form, which I believe I was, or maybe it was year 11, whatever it was, I don't know, you could... a couple of hours after school, you could clean it and they'd pay you. I thought, that's an easy job. I'm already here. Because only a couple of hours, it paid decent, all things considered. So I didn't have that much money. But I went out and I bought every single Metallica album I could from HMV. Now, young pups won't remember this, but metal albums back in the day from HMV were not cheap. That was not considered a popular genre, so you had to put down some dough for that. And it wasn't just that, because then I went to Argos, which was a few doors down from HMV, and I bought myself one of those really cheap guitars, the acoustic ones. They cost like 20 quid. They've got nylon strings. They're a pile of crap, but they are very good to learn on because you can beat the crap out of them. And I started to learn guitar. First song I ever learned was No Leaf Clover, was Nothing Else Matters, after I'd heard it off the Black album. And I sat there like they were books, and I listened to every single Metallica album back to back, and some of it I didn't get. I remember hearing some tracks off, it was probably Justice and Justice for All, and I was like, I don't know what the hell that was. I hadn't really developed my ear enough, because that does happen with music. You have to have like a gateway into it, and then it's like a drug, and you've got to wean yourself into the harder stuff. And then Justice is pretty proggy, and there is some bizarre editing decisions and production decisions given the bass not being there. So it was really hard for me to get into, but even then, it's kind of weird. Like, I know a lot of Metallica fans are going to go crazy about this, but look, I just say this now. I like all the Metallica albums. I like early Metallica, mid Metallica, now Metallica. I even think Lulu's got a good track on it, so ignore me. But at that time, and this is why I think they're really important albums, it was actually Load and Reload that allowed me to appreciate Justice, Master of Puppets, Kill 'Em All, and Ride the Lightning so much because they are easier songs to understand when you're not super into metal. Like, I used to love Carpe Diem Baby. I still like it today. I still think it's great, but there's nothing overly special about it. It's just a pretty good rock song. But I loved it. I loved Fuel. Obviously, everybody loves Fuel. Until It Sleeps. I'm not going to run all the songs off the albums. King Nothing, I am just doing it now. But because they weren't as hard and they weren't as edgy as the other stuff they'd done before, put my hands up and say that absolutely their early stuff is quote unquote better or at least more impactful. But that's how I got into it. And that's how I started to break it down and really, and it's always been weird. There's other bands that I love, like Symphony X, probably my second favourite band ever. You can just go look them up. But you know all the ones, Iron Maiden, Megadeth, Motorhead, we can do this all day. But they never ever, I could never really understand it. Maybe just because I got to Metallica first, but they never reached the levels that Metallica did. Metallica just did something to me. It made me crazy. I became one of these weird super fans. Even I know I'm being a bit creepy, but it just made so much sense to me. It gave me more confidence. It brought me a new passion. I bought a guitar. I eventually joined a band, which I'm still in today. It's called MG and the Juggernaut. It just rolled downhill, and all of a sudden, music made sense. And it opened the door to all these other metal bands. Again, I heard Slayer, Anthrax, blah, blah, blah. And it was just, I can't explain it. And that's the best thing. Even though I'm trying to explain it, the best thing about it is I can't explain it. And ever since then, they have been there for me in a musical sense. When I'm feeling down, Metallica will pick me up. When I want to rush them in the gym, Metallica picks me up. I tweeted this the other day. The best thing about them, I heard Master of Puppets at some point in the last 4 weeks. I must have heard Master of Puppets over 1,000 times at this stage. I've seen it play dozens of times live, and yet I heard it, and it was like I'd never heard it before. I got that same rush, the spider riff kicked in, and I don't know what it was. It was just the adrenaline kicked in, and that to me has to... Something in my brain is just wired that way, which is why they rose up to this sort of untouchable profile where they'll never be able to be knocked off. They just won't. They're my band. I know a lot of Metallica fans are like this as well because I've talked to them. And if I was a guy that was into tattoos, I'd get a Metallica tattoo because I don't know what it was, but they just spoke to me. And I was lucky enough to meet them. I was a Metallica fan club member for like 10 years. And they always said, look, if you're a member for a long time and you keep entering these meet and greet competitions when you're coming to gigs, eventually you'll win. And I did. The only kind of sucky thing was I didn't get to meet James Hetfield because I imagine it was at a time when he was going through some of his stuff. And you know that means or you don't. And he just said that it would affect his aura if he didn't, if he came out and met everyone. That was a bit disappointing because obviously James Hetfield, and I get it, he's probably going through some mental health stuff, so I don't want to rag on him too much, but I'm just being, as a fan, I was quite disappointed. But I met Lars, met Robert, met Kirk, and Lars especially was great. Lars said to me, he went, how many times have you seen Metallica live? And I don't count that stuff. I try and enjoy the moment. So I actually said to him, like, I don't know, but a lot. And he looked at me, he went, I like that. That's the best answer anyone said. It's not a competition. And he talked to me for about 5 minutes. He signed all my gear. Like it was really cool. It was a really cool memory looking back. And he was a really nice guy. You can kind of understand and see why he would be the kind of what's the word I'm looking for? The machine behind the works, the cogs that makes everything go. But ever since then, they've been brilliant. They released Hardwired. Was it last year? It must have been 2 years ago now, 2016. Loved that Spat Out the Bone, all that was good. Yeah, it was a bit long, they probably could have edited it a bit, but I'm not saying they're infallible, I'm not saying they're perfect. Like Ronnie, for example, was that on Load, Reload, whichever one it's on, is not a particularly good song. But other than that, all the little things they've done, I've just got a kick out of. Like Katara Metallica was awesome, I went to see their movie, I can't remember what it's called now, Between the Never, don't remember. But that was weird, but good. And again, Lars, I went to see that in the IMAX in London in Waterloo, and Lars came and did a Q&A there, so it's just great, I'm loving it. But that's it. And to this day, they still stand atop the mountain as they're almost more than a band. Again, stupid stuff to say, but yeah, I can't explain it. And I always go and see them live when they play. First time I saw them live was they did a Reading and Leeds festival. I can't remember the year now, but I went to both Reading and Leeds. I drove up there on a Friday to see him at Leeds. I drove back down to see him again on Reading on the Sunday because I'd never seen them before, and I was desperate to. And ever since then, I don't think I missed a gig they've done in this country. I could probably be wrong, but it's up there because I always want to see them live. And that, my friends, is why I love, and I'm a little bit obsessed with Metallica, I'm sure. And nothing else. You either get it with Metallica or you have your own band. So in the comments below, let me know who's your band. Who's the band that sends you crazy, the music that kind of made you understand music, makes you feel alive, ticks all those boxes. It could be anybody. Maybe it's Mumford & Sons. Maybe it's the Spice Girls. I don't judge when it comes to music. I don't think it matters about depth or how shallow it is. Everybody's different. That's just the way of the world. Anyway, thanks very much. These are getting weirder and weirder. But look, I'll talk anything like this you want me to talk about, I'll talk about. I get a kick out of it. Get quite excited, as you can probably see. Let's wrap it up. If you're watching this today, it goes live. It's Friday, so have a great weekend. But all in all, just take care of yourselves and take care of each other. That's what Jerry Springer used to say. And I shouldn't have copied him.